A job seeker asked, how can I measure how well I answered interview questions during my interview? Well, the ultimate measure of success during your interview is whether you landed the job or not. There's always that awkward time between the interview and the selection decision. So, while you wait, let's look at or examine 9 steps to assessing your interview performance. Number 1 is, were you prepared? You should always prepare for success or begin your preparation for your interview and job search success well before you start to apply for jobs. Review common interview questions, some that would likely show up in any interview for any type of job. So some of them could include, why are you interested in the job? What are your strengths and your weaknesses? How do you deal with conflict in the workplace? Why do you want to leave your current job? Or what makes you the better candidate amongst other qualified candidates? Number 2 is to practice, practice, practice. When you practice, you become more comfortable with answering interview questions. As a result, you will be more confident during your interview. Then next, did you listen carefully during the interview? Don't feel like you have to begin spurting out an answer to an interview question as soon as the interviewer stops speaking. Take a few seconds and gather your thoughts. As a matter of fact, as a result, you will likely not ramble during your answer. Then, did you ask for clarification? If you're unsure about the answer that the interviewer is looking for, or you're not clear on what the question is, don't hesitate to ask the interviewer to either repeat the question or to rephrase it and ask it in another way. This will give you some additional time to gather your thoughts and compose what will be hopefully an appropriate answer and make you an even stronger candidate for it. Did you tell stories during your interview? Most of us love a good story. They can be very engaging and help us to create a connection with our audience. So it's very important to create that connection with our interviewers. I remember during an interview when I was asked, the interviewer asked me to describe a time when I convinced a superior to see my perspective regarding an HR issue. I told them the story of when I convinced my vice president of human resources to agree with and support me in my recommendation to suspend an employee instead of terminating them for a gross lack of judgment. Well, they liked the answer, and I got the job and will soon be there for 5 years. Then, did you use good judgment? For instance, consider if there is more than one possible correct answer to an interview question. Think about which would be best for you to expound upon. Let the interviewer know what your answer is, and then share with them that you realize that there is more than one possible appropriate answer to the question, but this is why you selected the particular answer that you did. This will give the interviewer a peek into the way that you make judgment calls and reason situations out. Then, did you take notes? Whether your interview is in person or virtual, you should always have a pen and paper handy. And I find it very helpful during interviews to jot down the main topics or main points within the question. And that way I can glance at my notes, and while I'm answering the question, I can make sure that I cover every part of the question that the interviewer has asked me to answer. Were you aware of the length of your responses or answers to the interview questions? The ideal length of an answer to an interview question, depending upon what the question is between 10 and 90 seconds long. And you should not expound more than that. So just make sure that all of your responses fall within that range and the length of the response is appropriate for the type of question that you are being asked to answer. Then, did you share? Sharing as in examples of your work. We all know that a picture is worth 1,000 words. So an example or examples of your work could elevate your standing as your ranking as a qualified candidate substantially. So be prepared to share examples of your work with your interviewers, and these can include documents, pictures, email messages, or a short video. I guarantee you will stand out amongst the pool of qualified candidates. So in conclusion, well thought out responses to interview questions are a major key to your job search success. So invest the time and energy that's required to improve and elevate your interview performance. Always honestly rate your performance after each interview and make improvements and adjustments as necessary. For more job search advice, or if you need a little motivation during your job search journey, visit namteek.com often. If you enjoyed today's post, share it with others. Then like it, subscribe, or comment. And if you ask a question, I might feature it in a future post. So thanks for visiting and reading. I'm Cynthia O. Career search success to you. Go get your new job.